This is a MacBook Air from 2015, and you may be wondering why I'm making a video about this thing when it's almost 8 years old by now. Well, as you can see, I don't think Apple ever made convertible notebooks, and you're probably now wondering, why is it in this state? Well, I found this thing at the dumpster, and I was curious to see how far it was actually damaged, and if you already observed, there are always some wires sticking out, and yeah. Whoever threw this away thought it would be a good idea to maybe get rid of their data by just stepping this thing in half. And the funny thing is that whoever did this had to take such a high force. Where's the camera? Oh, there we go. Where's the camera? There's the camera. Please focus. It had to take such a high force while snapping this thing that he actually managed to rip the cable under this plastic thing here, which is pretty damn stiff. And also on the other side here, if I can get it to focus. There we go. So even here, there's apparently it's also a cable here, which I didn't know, and they also managed to rip this under the plastic cover here. So I'm not sure if the screen itself is broken. At least it seems pretty okay, apart from the water stains and everything. Oh no, actually, I see a broken panel. I think no, actually it's not. I thought this was a broken corner here, but if you look closely, I thought this light blue area here was the broken panel, but I can't smear that. That just seems to be some kind of dirt on there. Nothing obvious at first glance, and I've obviously not cleaned this. And before I touch this further, let's get my super cheap gloves here, my super cheap ones. I actually got those from a chair that I ordered online, which, funny enough, also gave those gloves. So, yeah. Let's examine this further. Now, it seems to be in a pretty good condition, so whoever broke this thing probably still used this before. And, yeah, the underside of this also doesn't look too great, but it's mainly dusty, and I think there are water stains and stuff on this, so apart from whatever this, oh god, whatever this thing is. Now they also ripped the things where the screen attached to, so yeah, it's pretty bent, but I think I could bend that actually back with some pliers, if it still works, that is. And I tried turning it on while at the dumpster still, but it didn't do anything, so yeah, it's dead. And either it has to do with a short on those cables here, which I hope that's the case. So maybe I can power this thing on without actually having a screen attached by just using, oh god, this thing here. By just having an external screen attached and a charger. And the battery also doesn't seem bloated because this thing is not bending at all. And I had a MacBook from 2011 that already had a bloated battery, which just made the keyboard a little more ergonomic. So yeah. Let's actually try and open this up and see what awaits us. Maybe there are some water stains in there and I can't actually repair this. We'll have to see, I guess. So I think that's the right size here, if I'm not entirely wrong. No, it's a size too big. Let's take one smaller here. It's still too big. Yeah. Even smaller still. There we go. So, we will have to see what awaits us in here. Here we go, that was the last screw, and I can scramble those because they're basically the same size except for those two here. So, abracadabra, whatever you say to that. Let's see what's in here. And no, I haven't opened this thing before, so... Oh, that looks pretty much clean in here. Apart from some dust particles here. That is clean. Let me zoom down a little bit on this. There you go. There's basically no dust in here. And even in the vents there. No, there's almost no dust. I'm not sure how focusy this camera wants to be. Yeah, there we go. No dust whatsoever. Yeah, my camera doesn't want to focus on that, but still. I want to disconnect the screen ribbons, or at least what's left of them, because they are going to be either shorter. Oh, there's a little bit of liquid damage actually here, if you look closely. Actually, let me get something plastic thing here. There is, yeah, this is a little brush to clean stuff, so yeah. There's some liquid damage here, and maybe that's the reason why they threw it away, but this would be weird. No, that doesn't seem to affect anything if I go closer here. Seems like that should not be the reason why this MacBook was thrown away. But taking a closer look, nothing seems to be out of place, at least from my very limited MacBook experience. And yeah, this looks pretty okay, to be honest. So let's open those little clips here, and I need a little where are my pliers? There are my pliers. There we go. So first of all, let's actually disconnect the battery here, which is the most crucial thing. And can I do this with gloves on, or should I take them off for this? Here we go. Disconnect the battery so nothing can explode anymore. So those things just unhook from the back side here. You just have to lift this up. If I'm not clumsy as hell. Yeah, the gloves make this a little harder than it's supposed to be. I'm gonna take them off again. This is not working out, so. There we go. So essentially we can, or I can throw this away here, because that's just like a little stump left of whatever that screen ribbon was supposed to be. And how is this actually? Oh, that's routed under the board, I think. I think this is going to be a little more annoying, but this just seemed to be the antennas for Wi-Fi, is it? No, there are more connections here. That's the Wi-Fi or Bluetooth antenna apparently here, which you can barely see from because of the background, but there are also some bigger, there's also a bigger wire here, which apparently is for backlight or whatever. I'm not sure. So yeah. I'm not sure how I should actually unmount that, because it seems I have to lift up the whole, it seems I have to lift up the whole motherboard for this, and that's the USB connector, or yeah, that's the USB connector, goes under here. That just seems to be for the fan. Yeah. Let's take this ribbon cable off here and see if I can find more. It's just stuck on. Okay. This is, what is this? There's a cable and connector here. I'm not sure where this is going though. This little ribbon connector seems to be for the fan, and I think this may be going here. Or is it? No, it seems to be a combination thing. There's another wire running down under this board here, and they've bundled up some wires, and I think one of them is actually this here. So actually this is a tiny board here. I could unmount this. I thought this was a whole board here. I could just unscrew this and see if that makes it removable, but then again, if this is bundled up, I have to unplug all of this, and yeah, I'm not sure what else is on this, but the SSD is still here, which I'm just noticing. So whoever threw this away really tried to destroy the data by just ripping the screen off, which is hilarious. And I'm not sure if the 2015 MacBook or macOS versions actually encrypt the data on the SSD, but if it didn't, I can still recover stuff here, but I'm not going to do it because I do not like snooping around other people's stuff. So yeah, this thing, can I remove this? There are some there's some pogo pins here, and I think they're just making ground connection with the back plate, so those shouldn't matter. So I guess just, if I unscrew this, I would have to also repaste the CPU, because this is a whole unit here. You know what? I would say screw it and actually try to turn this thing on. Or actually the battery. I should reconnect the battery first. So, here we go. Let's hope nothing goes up in flames. Which... so far nothing goes up in flames, which is good. And this ribbon connector... let's connect this back again here. I forgot this actually. There we go. So, let's see if this makes a ding. There's nothing shorting out here. Let's make a final check. No, I don't think so. And let me get my MacBook charger. So, I have my MacBook charger cable and I'm ready to plug this in. Let's see and hope that this makes a ding, because if it does, it means that the whole unit and the whole CPU, GPU, RAM and whatever is on there is still good. Which means I can order replacement parts potentially, which if it doesn't cost too much, that is. So, there goes nothing, and look at the little LED. If it turns green, or no, I think if it turns green it doesn't charge, but if it turns red it charges, I think. Let's see. Where's the magnet here? There it is. Is it? Does it not fit? Oh, it doesn't take my charger. This is the wrong charger size for this. Oh no, I can't actually test this. Oh no. Or can I? It seems to... no, it seems to be a smaller variant. This seems to be the wrong one. This is from a 2011 MacBook. That sucks a little actually, because I can't test this right now. So, I think I have to get some appropriate charging equipment here and try this another time, and I'll probably just cut this all in one video, so you won't notice that some weeks probably went by when I recorded this. So here we are back with the MacBook convertible from Apple a few days later, and my charger actually arrived. Now it's just a cheap little knockoff thing, but it actually feels pretty decent to be honest, so yeah. Just got it off Amazon, so we'll see later if this works. However, I noticed something else. There was something stuck under this SSD here, which appears, if you look closely, which appears to be someone's fingernail or toenail or something. At least it looks suspiciously like it, and yeah, focus is not great here right now, but I can definitely tell that it has, first of all, dirt on this, and yeah, my fingernail is a little dirty too, but this is someone's fingernail. This is... I'm not sure how this was wedged onto the SSD here, but I hope it doesn't get worse. It looks to be in pretty good condition still, so there's almost no water damage except this one, but I think that's like solder residue, and I'm noticing a lot of dust, but this is perfectly looking fine, so yeah. Another thing I was thinking about is this little cable here, which was snapped off by whoever snapped the whole thing in half, and I can actually pull this thing off here and reveal all the cables. And I don't think anything is shorting out here, because I thought that potentially this means that if I can get it to focus again, if whatever was connected here would short out, and it could potentially mean that the main board gets damaged because of this, because electricity flows somewhere that it shouldn't be. But I don't think it's actually looking like it's shorting. And yeah, I disconnected the battery before opening or closing this thing again, because I didn't want to have it laying around with a connected battery in case it goes nuclear. But this looks to be... actually, it might be shorting. So let's snip that off before we try to power this thing on. And what is in there actually? Let me zoom into this a little bit more so you can see there. Here we go. I'm not sure what this cable is for. There are multiple cables in here, and I'm going to try and snip this open a little bit here. So I think this was actually the proper display connector, because there are like 6 or 7 cables in here, super fine ones. So I think even if this should short out, it wouldn't mean the death of the main board potentially. I'm gonna try and plug this cable a little apart still, so there's no risk of something shorting still, but I don't think that's some high power line, so it should be fine, I guess. I mean, after all, this is a surgery kind of MacBook anyways, and I'm not even sure if it works yet. So the adhesive on this cable doesn't make it any easier to actually plug those cables apart, but I think this is starting to look good right now. Let's see. Yeah, I think this should actually do it. And the other 2 cables actually just look like antenna wires for Bluetooth and Wi-Fi, so I don't have to really care about those, because either they're connected or not, and I think that shorting together antenna wires shouldn't actually hurt them too much, so yeah. This one is unplugged anyway, so I don't have to care for this one. And let's zoom out again and see if it gets some MacBook chime if I plug the power supply in. And I still have to undo the twisty wire here. And I'm actually gonna leave the battery unplugged, because as far as I know, these things still boot without a battery connected, just in low power CPU mode. So as long as the battery isn't connected, you're not getting the full CPU power or performance out of them. So let's plug this in and hope it doesn't explode. This is pretty loose in there. So there's no light on the charger. Let's touch it and see if I get shocked. So yeah, doesn't seem like it's doing that. And I guess let's go ahead and plug it in and see if something smokes up. I'm recording, right? Yeah, there we go. I'm gonna go back a little bit. It's actually lighting up green. Orange, that means it's trying to charge. Oh my... Did you hear it? The fan is going. It's actually booting up. Oh my god. This thing actually works. Nothing is smoking. So, does this have a Thunderbolt or whatever it's called on a MacBook port? Yes, it does. So I can plug in my external monitor into this thing and see if it works. Let me actually unplug it again. So yeah, it instantly shuts off because the battery is dead, but or disconnected. But let me plug my adapter in and let's see if we can get a signal. This is actually exciting right now. So I've prepared everything. MacBook is here, and I can't actually see my video feed from the camera right now because I've connected the MacBook, but I am excited. So I'm going to record with OBS Studio here, and I also only can see the HDMI output or input from OBS. And let's... okay, it doesn't work. So let me fix some settings here. I pressed record a little too early, so everything is connected. Everything should be working. And I'm excited to power this thing on again. And let's see if everything starts working. Now I'm capturing the HDMI output with OBS and a capture card here. And the only thing I can see is actually the capture output. So let's see if this contraption works. And there is the charging cable. Let's plug it in again. Oh god, this is exciting a little bit. There we go. So, let's see what's happening. MacBook sound? Come on. There we go. Nothing on screen so far. But maybe there is nothing on screen as long as it's trying to boot up. Or maybe this adapter isn't working anymore, which I hope it does though. Let me try and re-enable my capture source here. Oh, there we go. Oh, why is it upside down? Let me fix that real quick. There we go. So it's telling me to go to support.apple.com Mac Startup, but this is great news. This thing logically works. So I'm not sure what this symbol actually means. I think on the old Macs it means that the SSD isn't properly detected, or no OS is detected. So maybe someone got into recovery and formatted the drive before they threw it away, which means they actually did some proper data, destroyed the data properly, which is actually good. I only thought they broke it in half and called it a day, but apparently not. So let's try to power this thing off, and the fans are going full speed for some reason. I'm just holding the power button here. I hope the keyboard is actually working. This doesn't seem to power it off though. I really hope the keyboard is working. Let's unplug it and let's plug it back in, and while booting up I'm holding the Alt key right now to see if I get some kind of boot menu or recovery menu, so we can check out the drive and how it's actually formatted and everything. As long as the keyboard works, obviously, but... And as long as I can actually see it on screen, that is, because... Oh, there we go. Is the touchpad working? Not right now. Oh yeah, there it is. There's no drive detected at all. Okay. That is weird, actually. Let me connect to my Wi-Fi here and see if that actually gets us into recovery. Here we go. I'm connected. Oh, there we go. This is super tiny, though. I can barely read that. Let me see if I can set that to full HD or something. Yeah, okay, there we go. So now I can read it properly on the recording. It was probably fine, but I was just viewing the small version here. So let's go to Internet Recovery, and of course this is German because I live in Austria, and yeah, everything is German here. But let's wait till the recovery boots up and see if I can actually see the SSD, or maybe the SSD was just faulty. I have a second Mac SSD that I could try and put in here, and maybe they threw it away because of that, which would be stupid. That is like a $50 figure, a €50 fix or something for this thing. So yeah, let's wait a little bit and see once the recovery boots up. Here we go. Now the recovery is finishing to boot up, and I'm at the Apple logo here, and the bar just appeared, which is hopefully a good sign. I'm gonna wait a little bit longer till it fully boots up here, but I want to see what's wrong with the SSD, because it didn't detect it at all, and it should somehow detect something at least. And as said earlier, I suspect the SSD might be broken, but we'll see once we're in the partition manager, and maybe I can actually reinstall macOS from here. Okay, the mouse cursor just appeared. I can't seem to move it as so far, at least. I hope this will start working in a second. Oh, there we go. Why is it not detecting the mouse right now? It's telling me to turn on the mouse, but there is a perfectly fine touchpad on here. Yeah, okay, I'm gonna plug in some kind of mouse here. Let me search for one. I think I had an appropriate mouse somewhere here. There we go. This should be doing it. So let's see if it works if I plug in the USB mouse here. Not sure why the touchpad isn't detected. This doesn't seem to be working either. Let's see if this has a USB port. No, it doesn't. Let's try the other USB port. It does have the red dot and everything, but... Oh, it's actually moving. There we go. The touchpad isn't working though for some reason. To connect the Bluetooth keyboard, turn it on, and yeah, but I have a keyboard here. Oh, actually, it's not working. The LED and everything is not working right now. That is a little bit concerning, to be honest. I'm gonna get my wireless keyboard because I don't have enough. Actually, no, I have my computer keyboard here. Let's use this one. Here we go. That's working fine now. Oh, here we go. It's prompting me to set up, so I'm gonna use the English language. Disk utility. Let's check disk utility, what it actually is saying about the SSD. Disk image. This is just, oh, there it is. It's perfectly fine here. Oh, it says uninitialized. Why are there two though? Is it the same? No, it's not the same. What? There's a perfect drive here. Why is it not working? Actually, I'm just gonna erase it and because I don't need the data that's on here. And can I use this? No, this keyboard isn't working for some reason. So I'm gonna call it Mac OS. Call it Chernald, I think, and GUID should be fine. Are there two SSDs in here? I only saw one. Unformatted. PCI internal physical disk. I'm not sure what this is. I guess we'll see later because I'm not gonna format this right now, but I didn't see two SSDs and then think that MacBooks never came with two SSDs? I'm a little confused right now. Anyways, let's close out of this and say reinstall macOS. I'm gonna install whatever macOS is on here, and can I quickly go to some kind of about Mac utilities, or is there some kind of way to check which kind of specs this has? Don't think so. Whatever. I'm gonna install. Oh, okay, macOS Sierra. That's a pretty okay-ish version still. So yeah, I'm gonna install this, and I will be back later when I'm actually booted into macOS. As long as it works. I'm not sure yet, but it looks promising right now. It's detecting that there's no display connected, which is fine. So it's using. Oh wait, untrusted search title. Oh no, is that the? Oh, that's the time issue. I had this before. I had this on another Mac. I can set the time here. Let me do this before I end the video. I have to Google the comments though. Okay, so the first comment I have to use is... Oh, I have to use the other keyboard. I was about to use the internal one. Oh, sudo? Is it working? Comment not found. Okay, so I don't think I need this. System setup is comment not found. Okay. Date. Okay, date works. So let's try and set it like this. Month and date. So today is the 4th, 27th. How hour is 22. Does it actually support this kind of time format? Hour, minute, year? Why is the year at the end? April 27th to 2023, so this seems to be okay. Let's start the setup again. This is getting exciting right now. Quit terminal, there we go. Yeah, there we go. macOS is a little weird when it comes to closing Windows, because just pressing X isn't actually closing it for some reason. So I think this should fix the certificate error, I hope at least. Else I'll have to, yeah, there we go. So this was the fix. I remembered this correctly. So yeah, let me finish installing this thing, and I'll be back later. So sadly, it seems the installer errored out for some reason, and it keeps saying minus 399 seconds in the back. So let's click OK, and yeah, we're back at the screen here. Let me try and reformat the other disk too, in case it somehow gets hung up on that. But if it doesn't work, I'll try a USB restore method. So let's say erase on that thing too, and let's keep, I'm not sure what to call this. This is D2, I think. Erase. Erase process has failed. Couldn't open device. I'm not sure what this actually is here. Seems a bit weird. Hmm. Yeah, actually, let me try and make a USB recovery disk for this MacBook and try it this way. Okay, I'm back and I created a USB bootable drive here, so let's plug it in. And it's a little messy, so let's try to unplug the keyboard and hope that this one actually works with the proper keyboard now. So let's turn this thing off. Oh, I guess this doesn't work, so let's force shut it off. There we go. Let's hold the Alt key again. There we go. Install macOS Monterey. Let's try and boot this one. And see if it does any more than the other installer did. And I hope it does. And Monterey, or whatever you pronounce that, is actually the latest version you can get on this Mac, which this one seems to be a mid 2015, if I'm correct. It's a A1466 model, so I hope that's the correct installer for this one. Let's see if the touchpad is working, and I don't think so. Now, one theory I have is that if you disconnect the battery, you're not getting any keyboard input, which would be stupid, but it sounds like such a Apple thing to do actually. And yeah, the keyboard is still not working. So I may have to get a USB hub here and try to plug in multiple devices. And I don't have one, it seems. So let me just quickly search one. Here we go, found one. So unplug the mouse and plug it into this thing, and also plug the keyboard in this thing if I can untangle it behind these wires here. Here we go. And now let's plug this in. God, this looks so shady already here. There we go. Plugged in. So yeah, mouse is working again. And the keyboard isn't lighting up though. I hope it's still working. Install macOS Monterey. And let's hope for the best, I guess. I'm not sure why the keyboard isn't working, but I think I don't need the keyboard for the installation itself, I guess. License agreement is unavailable. I don't care about that, I will just agree. Agree. And I think that's... No, that's the USB stick. There we go. Disk utility, and let's reformat the disk again. Wait, can it not see it? There it is. What? Why is it... I can't type anything, so I think this isn't working. Oh god, I just accidentally scrambled the screws here. Here we go. Let's try and plug it in again. No. Why isn't this working? I'll just... I need to get rid of the screws here a little bit. Here we go. I'm gonna plug in the keyboard directly now and see if this makes it work. This makes it work, so let's type in macOS. Erase. Is it going to do anything? It seems to be erasing, so not sure. Let's plug in the mouse again. This is such a mess here. I'm just gonna not use the USB hub since it doesn't seem to be working anyways. So let's plug the mouse back in. Let's click on done. And internal macOS volume 121 gigabytes. I'm not sure. sure why this was so weirdly displayed here. Maybe the SSD is broken. Maybe that's why the auto install failed all the time. Guess we'll see now. Would be such a weird case though. Maybe that is the reason why they threw it away, because the SSD is just damaged. I still have one laying around, but I'm not entirely sure that if it actually fits in here. But I don't think between the 2011 model and the 2015 one there has been a lot of change, so it should be working, I guess. And worst case, I can swap it in. I'm not sure how much, how big the SSD actually is that I still have laying around, but I think it's also 120 gig or something. Here we go. So let's click on agree again. Agree, and now we have the proper drive. So continue, and here we go. So I'm gonna let this run through again. It should be a little quicker, I think, over USB 3. Or maybe not, actually it takes longer. Okay, so it's not quicker. Anyways, I'm gonna let this run through and I'll report back if there's an error again or if it actually installed. Well, I think it's starting up right now. I just heard the fan spin down and ran back to my camera. And is it restarting now? Just shut off again. The fan stopped spinning too. And yeah, I ran back to my camera and saw that it seems to be booting up now. I hope. Let's see, fan is spinning again, Apple logo again. I think this is looking promising. Not sure why the auto install just crapped out all the time. Yeah, it's loading again. I think we might have a winner here. I'm still not sure what specs this thing actually has, but I suspect it's one of the base models, so probably a Core Duo or something. But then again, Mac and macOS, Macs and macOS in general are pretty damn optimized, so they're running pretty flawless with whatever OS was last supported on them, so I guess this should be working out properly now, and I have a mouse cursor. Is the touchpad working? And it doesn't seem to be working still. I'm not sure why the touchpad and keyboard is working in the the caps lock key is still not lighting up. Not sure why the keyboard and touchpad is working in the boot menu and everything and not in the OS itself. Maybe it will start working in a second, but I doubt it. Yeah, touchpad is still not working, even though I already have a mouse cursor on screen. I really hope there's no auto fault on the main board with this already broken Mac, but I guess we'll see once I reconnect the battery if everything starts working again. Loading bar is still almost at 100%. There's like a little bit left there, but should be coming up any second now. The caps lock key is still not activating when I press on it, so I think we might not have keyboard and touchpad still. At least the USB mouse is working, so it's still stuck at the last 2% there. I've been waiting for a few more minutes and the USB mouse is working already. And maybe it just needs a little bit more because right now it's running at a lower CPU speed than it usually should be doing because the battery is disconnected. And I know for a fact because my 2011 MacBook did the same when the battery died and I had to take it out of there and test if it still works. It was super sluggish and everything, so maybe it's still working on this, but at a lower speed, so maybe we'll get somewhere, maybe we don't. I really hope I get this MacBook working again though, because it would be nice to have one. Even though I have to invest a little bit on the replacement parts like the hinge and the screen should be fine, but everything else needs a little bit of bending back and replacement, so I guess I'll wait a few more minutes and see if it continues. So it's been about half an hour now and it still hasn't booted up properly, so I think I'll go ahead and cut it off here and reconnect the battery to see if the CPU is just super underclocked right now and if it boots up any faster once I reconnect it. Now there could also be an issue with the SSD disconnecting or something, but then again it would probably kernel panic and reboot. So I'm a little confused here right now, but I'll go ahead and hold the power button and see if it does anything. But as the keyboard doesn't seem to be working at all right now, I don't think this will actually shut off the Mac. No, doesn't seem to be doing anything. So I'm gonna unplug power now. There we go, it's gone. And I'm gonna unplug the USB and just disassemble this Mac again. So I just put 2 screws in here, and let me zoom down a little bit again. Here we go. So let's remove the back, and I hope I'm not shorting out this thing here accidentally. There we go. So let's reconnect the battery. There we go. And close it back up. At least with 2 screws, so nothing can short out in the back here. And another thing I'm going to do is do a NVRAM reset, or whatever it's called on Mac, where you just hold a button combination while booting up the MacBook. And I'm not actually sure what the button combination is, so let me look that up real quick. Yeah, and my YouTube Shorts kept playing there. MacBook, NVRAM reset. What's the button combination again? Hold down Command Option P and R. So I'm gonna plug it back in. Command Option P and R, I think it was. Command Option P and R. There was a chime again. Yeah, there we go. Mac, or the Apple logo appeared on the screen a few frames. And I think it reset again. So, it should do the chime again now, after a few seconds. There we go. It's a little louder now, so the NVRAM reset did work. As far as I know, it resets the volume and everything that's stored when when the owner of this MacBook actually shut it down last time. So we'll see if it boots up any quicker now. With the battery connected, it should actually do so, because the CPU should clock up to full speed now. I'm gonna let this run again for a few minutes, and once the installer screen comes on again, I'll cut back to it. Or actually, do I have to stop the video? Because it just flashed the logo. Keyboard and mouse is still not working, so it wasn't a battery issue, and I hope that nothing else is wrong with this mainboard as said earlier. Oh, there we go! About 29 minutes remaining. That wasn't on screen before. So yeah, I'm gonna let this run through, and I'll be back once this finishes. So there's about a minute remaining right now, it says, and I think we are finishing up here. It took another 20 or so minutes till the setup was finished, but I think we're getting somewhere here now. Now the touchpad and keyboard still isn't working, so the NVRAM reset didn't do anything to that. And I'm not really sure how to fix this actually. Maybe that was the fault why this thing was thrown away. But yeah, I'll have to look up if there's a fix for that. I'm still confused why it works in the boot screen but not in the OS itself, so yeah. This could be an issue why this thing was thrown out and not liked anymore. And I think in the Apple universe, a minute takes longer than an actual real-life minute, so yeah, it's been about 4 minutes now that I've waited again, and still nothing, it's still stuck on the same screen, so I'll cut back the recording once it's further again. So I'm not entirely sure what just happened, but for some reason it doesn't turn on anymore. I cut the power during the installation because it wasn't just moving forward anymore, and I tried to reboot it and it would boot up again, and I cut it again because I wanted to try something else. But now if I connect power, it just doesn't boot up anymore. Now the battery is disconnected and it should start up itself. If I press the power button on the back, it doesn't do anything. It didn't do anything before already. Now it ran a little bit on battery, but for some reason it doesn't do anything anymore now. I've removed the SSD, but it didn't work before either, so that's not the issue. And I'm going to try and reverse the plug here, but that shouldn't do anything. No. So, not sure what's going on anymore. I'm going to reconnect the battery and connect the charger again, but doesn't work. Pressing the power button didn't do anything earlier either, so I'm not sure what just happened. Maybe this thing purposely died on me now? Someone just entirely died, and I'm not sure why. I'm gonna flip it over again and do the NVRAM reset combination again, but I don't think that will change anything. There's nothing beneath here that can short it out. So I'm gonna plug it in again. No. So Command Alt PR, the thing is that I have to do this pretty quick. I'm not sure what just happened. I'll probably have to remove the whole motherboard and look underneath because I saw some potential liquid damage. But yeah, there's nothing happening anymore. That is so weird. I mean, it just worked a few minutes before, so I think this might just have properly died. Now I see some liquid damage around here because there's a little bit of corrosion. I was out of frame half of the time, but there's a little bit of liquid damage. Can I show this on camera? No, I can't really. I have to zoom out again. I can't really move around because of all the screws and cables here now. But if I look closely here, there's a little bit of damage that you can see corrosion here. I think this actually that I thought in the beginning of the video wasn't liquid damage, but rather solar residue or something, or flux residue. Seems to be liquid damage too, which it doesn't seem to affect any traces, but it could suck itself into the main board, and since this is a multi-layer board, it can damage a lot of different things that are completely unfixable for the average user. Also on this power distribution board, as I said, the corrosion here, it doesn't look to be in bad condition, and this board is entirely replaceable here, but it's still a pain to get out because you have to remove all the CPU heatsink here, and just to get this tiny little board out, and I have to look underneath at the cable if maybe there's something shorted out. I checked this again, there's nothing shorted out here. So yeah, I think it might actually have died properly now, which would suck. I'm gonna leave this sitting here for a few more hours. I have to go to sleep anyways. It's 1:30 AM in the morning, so yeah, and I have work today. So not sure what happened. I'll have to debug this and look over it in a few hours, so yeah. I'll be back at another time. So it's the next day, and I just woke up a few minutes ago, and I just wanted to work on this thing again because it kept me up a little bit and thinking during the night, what could possibly be wrong with this thing? So I removed this board here, and I'm sorry this is not in the extreme center of the video, but I can't physically move the MacBook further in front of me. But I discovered something under this energy distribution board or whatever it is because it seems like the charger goes through here to the main board, and there definitely is some remnants of liquid damage if it focuses. There's definitely some liquid damage here that you can see, and there's also on this component, I'm not sure how, yeah, this is too far already. You can see some corrosion on those pins here, so something definitely got into this thing. And yeah, also on this shield of the headphone jack you can see a little bit of something being there. But it doesn't look too bad, so I'm gonna clean this off with isopropyl alcohol, and I'll see if this somehow magically fixes stuff, but I don't think so. So let's put some IPA on here and Yeah, this I used this to clean flux from another board. So no, this is not what it looks like. Let's clean this a little bit. I'm also not sure what this sponge kind of thing on the bottom here is, because it's like there's like this weird protrusion from the board. I'm not sure what this is, but it looks weird. Let's clean this a little bit, and yeah, this looks a lot better already. I'm not sure why it would have worked at first though, and why it suddenly stopped working. And it definitely looks blackish. So I think there's something wrong with the chip, maybe because one of those pins looks really burned almost. But it could just be eaten away slightly by the corrosion, I'm not sure. I'm not an expert in this. But let's also clean this side because it also had some corrosion on it. I'm sorry if this is not entirely in focus, but my camera is sometimes stupid. So let's clean the whole board while we're at it. There we go, it looks a lot better. Yeah. I'm gonna test this, though I think this will not just be an as easy fix as it was right now. From what I've seen, I think I only need the ribbon cable to actually be able to try and power this on. Let's plug this in here and let's zoom out probably a little bit so you can see more. Here we go. Let's plug this back in here. Here we go. So I'm gonna use something sturdy to not ground this thing out somehow. Here we go. And I guess let's plug it back in and see if it suddenly springs to life again. I don't think it will, but did it just turn off on me again? There we go. So, let's see. So it does need the other cable. Okay, I thought it would just need a ribbon cable. But it seems like it does need the other cable too. And let's plug this back in too. Apple really makes complicated stuff, to be honest. There we go. This is plugged back in. Let's plug the ribbon cable back in and prop it up on here. So it's drawing 6 watts again, but it's not properly starting up, I think. I'm also not sure where the 6 watts are going. Like, this thing is not booting up or trying to boot up. It's also not, the battery is also disconnected. So if I connect it, it draws like 30 watts or something. So charging is still working. But I'm not sure what's broken. So the corrosion on this thing wasn't the issue. Could obviously be some deeper issue, but I think I'll take this thing apart further off video, because this is... I'm not sure how long this video is already going to be, but I think like an hour and 30 minutes probably already, with all the footage that I have to cut together. But it's not gonna be some interesting task to really just figure out how to take this apart. Also, one thing I figured out is the fan is actually a separate thing. I thought it was connected, because I thought this rubber gasket here is actually metal, but it wasn't, so it's just rubber. And I could just peel it back and reveal the screws underneath, so I could just take it off. I thought this was all a whole unit, and for Apple I thought this would be appropriate, but apparently they did think about this, so yeah. One other thing I could try actually is this display connector here, because it's just tucked underneath here. And I'm not sure how to take the speakers off though. I think those are speakers, right? Yeah. They don't have any screws. Or they're just glued in. There's no screws underneath here either because the rubber doesn't get dented in when I press on it. Yeah. Can I just yank this out here somehow? No. It's too tight here. Because one potential thing I'm thinking about is that maybe some of these cables are shorting out and disable some of, or ground something out and the CPU can't come up anymore. Which would be weird because I was touching this wire while it was running and rebooting and whatever, so yeah. I'm not sure what's going on anymore and I have to figure some stuff out and yeah, I'm gonna see what I'll have to do or can do and I'll report back once I have some updates or maybe once this thing is completely broken. I'm not sure what comes first. I want to excuse the sudden change in microphone quality, but I'm just using my phone here to record this section. And I just took the battery out and saw that the keyboard is actually connected to the touchpad here, to a tiny circuit board here. And one thing I saw is that there's a lot of corrosion on this connector. That could actually be the reason why the power button isn't working and the whole keyboard just seems to stop functioning at times. And I want to just try and remove this debris here on camera, and it's not as easy as it seems. This is super tiny and I'm looking through the viewfinder of the phone. There we go, it actually stuck to my pliers. But yeah, you can definitely see some corrosion here. Something definitely came in here. And another thing I noticed is on the battery. If I take the battery here, this indicator went off. If the focus would work. Focus, there we go. So this indicator went off. Those are, in case you didn't know, indicators for when liquid enters this device or any other device. They're pretty common on phones and everything, like the SIM card slot. So manufacturers can tell if you manipulated a phone or if something came in there. These are not triggered yet, so something came in here and also is the reason for this corrosion here. As you can see. Now I don't see any other corrosion, so let's plug this out here and check the connector. Oh yeah, you can definitely tell this. God, this is not easy with my phone and the flashlight. Ah, there we go. Yeah, something is definitely not right here. Let me try and clean this up and let's hope it actually works after this. So I've cleaned this connector up as good as I can, and if I zoom out, or with the naked eye, you can actually see some discoloration still a bit, which you can't see with the torch here on my phone right now. But it looks pretty okay again, so I guess let's try it. And the focus is not working great in video mode on this macro lens. But yeah, I guess let's plug it in again and see if the keyboard and maybe the power button works again. So yeah, here I am after the ribbon cleaning, and I'm gonna do this live on video because in case it will actually start working again, which I doubt, but let's hope for the best, I guess. So I didn't know that you can just access all of the stuff down here so easily when you remove the battery, but I guess it's a learning experience for me too. I'm not usually doing this too often here, but let's see what it's doing once I plug power in now. And if I can press the power button afterwards. So let's see if it blows up. Oh, here we go. Oh, it's drawing 11 watts right now. I think. Yeah, it's booting again. So the issue was the keyboard. That is insane. Maybe that was also the issue why it kept reporting an error after the install finished. Or during the install, actually. Because something just wasn't right. Maybe it was pulling down a line on the main board and something just didn't work right anymore. But I'm pretty hyped again because now it's working again. This thing might actually properly boot now. I'm gonna sample it a little further and plug it back into the screen, and let's see if it actually properly boots up again. Everything is plugged back in, everything is screwed together again, and I'll put the back plate on, and let me quickly check a few last things here. Ribbon connector is connected, this is connected. SSD is in, Wi-Fi card is in, keyboard connector is in, battery is not plugged in, so let's plug this in still. Let's put the top on. And let's put 2 screws in again on the corners so it doesn't wiggle around. Okay, I need the other bit for that. For some reason Apple loves using 2 different bits in their product. There we go. 1 and 2. Just so this doesn't flop around here. And let's turn it over. And let's press the power button. Is it going to boot? It's not doing the chime. So it might not actually work, but let me plug it in. Maybe it wasn't plugged in for long enough. It's drawing 15 watts again, so it's booting up. There we go. At least it's booting again. Now, I'm not sure why the keyboard still isn't working. Maybe there's some further damage, but... Or maybe the ribbon connector is damaged on the inside and the traces are broken, but... At least it's booting again. Let's see how far it comes this time. Oh, the touchpad is working now. Oh, nice. So is the keyboard working? Yeah, the keyboard is working too. The caps lock key is working now. I think this was a proper fix now. I'm not sure why the power button didn't work, but maybe it's because when you disconnect the battery you have to plug it back in once or something. But I'm gonna let this run through and see if it continues to properly boot up this time. I hope it does. So just as I was getting ready for work, this thing actually booted up now. And I'm pretty damn happy. For some reason I can't use the power button, so something is definitely still broken there. But I can use the touchpad, keyboard is working, and yeah. This is good news, because this means that most of the hardware on this thing is actually still working. I'm not sure why the power button isn't working, maybe it's just not doing anything in the setup screen, I'm not sure. But I actually already have to go to work, so I'm gonna keep setting this up and see if I can shut it down somehow, but I think I'll just unplug this thing. Can I press anything here? No, I can't. Yeah, okay. I'm gonna set this up and I'll report back once I'm at the desktop or something. So I got back from work and I actually took this thing apart further. I removed the main board. I checked for corrosion and stuff on it, and I actually found some corrosion on a capacitor. And I tested it with my multimeter, and I found out that this thing is shorted. I will edit a photo in here, but yeah, I watched a video from Louis Rossmann, which is a pretty damn good channel, by the way. You should go and subscribe to him. And he had this exact same fault on this kind of model here on the A1466, where it wouldn't properly boot up with the power button, because I can press this thing and it can see on the screen on the HDMI recording. It doesn't do anything. So how this actually works is, apparently whenever you press the power button, it shorts one wire circuit to ground or something. I'm not entirely sure. You would have to watch his video for that. I'm pretty novice, however you pronounce that, I'm not sure of that word. With my knowledge here, so that's the way I understood it. So something gets shorted to ground, and when I measured the capacitor, it was always shorted. So it was completely blown or something. I'm not sure how capacitors usually fail, but it shouldn't be a direct short where the multimeter is just beeping. So Yeah, that's the issue with this thing, and something with the liquid damage made it to just short out that circuit, but otherwise it works fine. As you can see, I can browse Safari here and it works pretty damn smoothly. And yeah, I checked if I can patch this thing to run Ventura, which is a bit more work than I'm going to put in this, but it's running fine. The only thing I can't do is once I shut it off, I can't turn it on anymore with the power button. I physically have to open this thing and disconnect the battery, and funny enough, I have to disconnect the keyboard too for some reason, and afterwards it works again. It boots up when I just plug it in, and as you can see, it also holds a charge. When I unplug this thing, it keeps running, so yeah. All in all, I would have to replace, I think, a capacitor if nothing else is gone. Now, it could be that when I measure this capacitor in circuit, that something else in the circuit is actually shorting. So, yeah, I can't tell for sure. The thing I measured was shorted, so I can only so far tell that something is not working correctly. And I'm not even 100% sure if it is the result, the capacitor is the result of the power button not working, but it only makes kind of sense, so yeah, due to the corrosion, something is definitely not completely right anymore with this thing, and Louis Russman actually explained that there's a huge gap here where liquid can come into the device, which we saw earlier in the video, where the connector is located here, with all of the corrosion on it. And yeah, that was probably the reason someone spilled something here and didn't properly clean it or bring it into repair. I thought it was fine, used it for a few more days or maybe weeks even, and suddenly it stopped working. So yeah, then they broke it in half because they got fed up with it, and yeah, now we're here. But yeah, I think for now this concludes the saga of the convertible Apple notebook that shouldn't be. And yeah, I'll have to see if I repair this thing further. My knowledge here ends, so anything that comes down to board viewing and schematics and whatever is way out of my scope, and I would have to really get into this topic more to try and fix this further. So yeah, so far I can use it as a kind of standalone Mac, and yeah, it's not pretty useful in this kind of state, but yeah, I at least have a MacBook from 2015 that semi-works, and yeah, so thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, even though it wasn't super interesting by the end, because yeah, I mean, it was kind of interesting to see this thing working, but just taking it apart and putting it back together or something is not too interesting, I think, but still, if you liked it, leave a like. If you super liked it, leave a subscribe, and I hope you will stay around, and I'll see you in the next video.